Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It is September 18th, 2015, and out of Japan there is major news. At the close of World War II, on the date of May 3rd, 1947, Japan voted for the policy of pacifism, which means refraining from fighting in war. Today, that policy change was overruled. For the first time since May 3rd, 1947, Japan is now legally able to participate in war. This is major news for the nation and major news for the world because it is quite symbolic. If you are new to my video channel, what I show is that world history, especially in recent centuries, has been written and executed by a numeric code, by a Freemason based code. And today's decision on the ending of pacifism is another perfect example of what I am exposing. We will get to that, but what I want you to see first is the mainstream coverage and what's going on in Japan for the past week in the build up to this decision.
Outrage in Tokyo this week saw one of Japan's largest anti-war protests in more than 50 years. Tens of thousands fighting a drastic change in military policy. Of course I'm angry, says this retired grandmother. I want politicians to listen to the people's voice. Voices of opposition growing louder. Parliament passed a radical reinterpretation of Japan's pacifist constitution. Our people are going to get pulled into war, says this IT engineer. Japanese troops could go into battle for the first time since World War II. The changes, called collective self-defense, allow actual combat under certain conditions.
Japan is finally growing up.
Longtime Asia strategist Keith Henry says Prime Minister Shinzo Abe wants Japan to play a proactive role in regional security to counter potential threats from China and North Korea.
Japan is like the 42-year-old kid still living in the basement of the U.S.
Did you just hear that quote, True Seeker? Japan is like the 42-year-old living in the basement. Emphasis on 42. Remember that number. I will show you why it is so relevant in regards to today's news.
The United States has been pushing Japan for years to expand the role of its military.
I don't think it's the plan of Mr. Abe or people around him to turn Japan into a militarist country.
Sophia University professor Koichi Nakano warns the changes could make it very difficult for Abe and his successors to avoid joining U.S.-led conflict.
I think he's taking enormous risks.
Recent polls show it's opposed by more than half the Japanese public. These protesters want Abe to step down, many of them students.
We don't know war.
Japanese youth re-emerging after years of apathy and absence from politics, using social media to draw bigger crowds, outnumbering, even overpowering the police.
The protesters have now broken through the police barricade, and they're just filing right through this line of police vehicles.
For a few hours, the protesters win, taking over the streets outside Parliament. I have children. I have many grandchildren, she says. This fight is for them. A fight to preserve Japan's pacifist past amid fears of a militaristic future. Will Ripley, CNN, Tokyo.
All right, True Seeker. So there was the coverage. Again, he said Japan is like a 42-year-old in the basement. This is what you need to know, Truth Seeker, with regards to 42 in Japan. Today, the date of the decision, September 18th, 2015, has a numerology of 42. The word war has a gematria of 42. If you're new here and you don't know what gematria is, it's the practice of coding numbers into words. Type how to gematria in your YouTube search at the end of this. My video will come up. You can learn these skills. You can also subscribe to my channel and go to my main page. The video is right there. The word Freemason with Pythagorean gematria has 42, but notice that Japan, war, and today's numerology are all 42, just like the number the reporter called out in the video. For those of you who ask me how aware are these reporters of these numbers, well, there's a perfect example what we just saw on the CNN reporting. If you think that guy randomly said 42, you are mistaken. This is part of the arrogance. This is part of what CNN does on a daily basis along with the rest of the mainstream media. With regards to Freemason ownership over Japan, remember this is an international gang. Think of two of the biggest companies out of Japan, Toyota and Honda. Toyota has simple English gematria of 96. Honda has simple English gematria of 42. 42 and 96 are the two numbers very much connected to the word Freemason. Freemasons are the keepers of knowledge. Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. Notice how Freemason, knowledge, and Satanism all have gematria of 96. And again, Freemason is 42, the small way. Today's date also has a connection to the number 62. The word Mason is 62. The word vote is 62. Today there was a vote to end pacifism. And the yays had 58 more than the nays, and we're seeing a lot of 58s lately. The reason 58 is interesting is because the word destruction has gematria of 58, and war always brings about destruction. Let's go back up to this headline here. CNN's cover page, the Japanese people forever renounce war with the emphasis on that. Notice this phrase in Pythagorean gematria, the Japanese people forever renounce war, sums to 174, just like the gematria of New World Order. And on this video channel, I have showed countless times how the New World Order is an old world order, a Masonic order, and they have been controlling everything in this world from wars to world governments to politicians, culture, media, more. Freemason ownership over the land these days, and the reason that is so is because the people, in a way, have become so pacified. I'm not someone who thinks war is a good thing, but I understand the reality of war, and right now we're living in a world where we need war against these Freemasons, not war by these Freemasons, which is what will happen so long as we are under their leadership. I hope that point is clear. The day that pacifism began in Japan was May 3rd, 1947. A date with 74 numerology, one of these most important numbers that we talk about so much on this channel. The word Masonic has gematria of 74. Again, this decision was made in the year 47, the reflection of 74. Also, with regards to the Freemasons, one of their favorite symbols is Tau. Tau, the triangle. Tau has gematria of 42 as well, just like Freemason. With regards to triangle, the words symbol, triangle, and pyramid have gematria of 86. So does the name Tokyo, the capital of Japan. And when you think about 86, it might make you think of the date August 6th. August 6th, 8-6. That's the date Hiroshima was bombed. Hiroshima was bombed August 6, 1945, less than 2 years before the vote on pacifism. This is a date with 33 numerology. And the reason that's interesting is because so many of us are familiar with the term 86th, as in meaning getting kicked out, getting booted, getting destroyed. You were 86th. The term 86th came from the year 1933. I have a video on that. Hiroshima was bombed on a date with 33 numerology, also a date with the connection to 8-6, a lot like 86. The number for symbol, triangle, pyramid in Tokyo. World leaders are selling out their people all across this globe, from the US to Japan and well beyond. In case you've somehow missed this footage, let us close by watching 41st President George H.W. Bush warn about the New World Order. Here in the United States, we're on the verge of possibly having the third Bush as President of the United States. Jeb has gematria of 17. The next president will take office in the year 2017.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
So there it was, Truth Seeker. With regards to that new, the first word in New World Order, N is the 14th letter. In Pythagorean gematria, 1 plus 4 becomes 5. E is the 5th letter. W is the 23rd letter, but 2 plus 3 becomes 5. So new becomes 5, 5, 5. I bring this up because in the United States, the War Department is 5-sided of 5 floors with a 5-acre court in the middle, and it sits across from the Washington Monument that is 555 feet tall. With regards to war, the Iraq War began March 20th, 2003, 555 days after September 11th. I have many videos on many wars in this world and how they have all been done by these same numbers over and over. It is one of the most tired patterns in the history of man, and it so desperately needs to be exposed. We truly could be on the verge of World War III. It might come as soon as next week. Remember that World War I supposedly began with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, this religious spiritual figure. In the coming week, we have the Pope visiting the United States in an unprecedented visit when a lot has been foreshadowed for the week ahead. These are all signs, Truth Seeker. If next week passes without major incident, the signs are still here that something is looming. Do not go back to sleep. You have to stay awake. You have to stay vigilant. You have to pay attention to what these people are doing. This needs to be stopped. It is absolutely disgusting. War by the numbers, people dying needlessly by the numbers. The protesters in Japan are right. I hope this information gets out to the protesters. Imagine if this knowledge went through the crowd of thousands of people. It's what needs to happen. The information is here. The world needs it. It is the Freemasons who are responsible for this. Our leaders are sellout Masons, no doubt. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.